A samurai kneels in the mud, rain slicing through the night. His clan gone, his honor questioned, his blade still. In that silence, he discovers the truth the world forgets. Resilience doesn't come when you feel strong. It arrives when you have no strength left. Stay with me. Because the way of the samurai hides a map through every storm, one that finds you when life cuts deepest. This isn't a motivational speech. It's a code, written in discipline, refined in battle, and kept alive by inner stillness. In the next few minutes, you will see how ancient samurai wisdom mirrors modern emotional regulation and anti-fragility. You will learn how warriors defy despair not by resisting pain, but by training their minds to turn every wound into alignment. By the end, you won't just understand resilience, you'll feel it. You'll breathe it. You'll carry it the way the samurai carried his blade. Quietly, purposefully, ready. Power in stillness. The battlefield is not always a place of swords. Sometimes it's a meeting room, a message, a moment that pierces your pride. Shame burns, anger floods, fear tightens the chest. But the ancient masters knew what modern science now confirms. No emotional storm lasts forever. Every feeling, no matter how fierce, is a wave. Chemistry passing through your body, about 90 seconds, unless you keep feeding it with thought. The samurai's strength was silence in that window. He would breathe once, anchor his mind, and let the fire settle. That pause was his weapon. He didn't fight the emotion. He outlasted it. Whoever holds steady for those first 90 seconds wins more than control. They win freedom. Freedom begins in the breath between impulse and choice. Strength isn't suppression. It's the art of feeling the emotion without becoming it. Shifting the blade. Loss is a battlefield we all walk, not always in war, sometimes in love, work, trust, identity. When defeat hits, it fragments us. One part feels shame, another fights denial, another tries to rewrite what happened. But rarely do we study the most powerful element, our own interpretation of loss. The samurai understood this well. They didn't crumble when cut down. They examined the meaning they placed on the fall. When a duel was lost, a warrior didn't ask, "Why did this happen to me?" He asked, "What story am I telling about this moment? And does it serve me?" That's reframing. Perception turned to strategy. The sword changes when the battle changes. Think about your last defeat. Was it rejection, failure, heartbreak? Did you label it proof you're not enough, or proof that you're evolving? That difference changes everything. The interpretation of failure can either imprison you or teach you. Rituals of recovery. After victory or defeat, the samurai would sit alone, brewing tea, cleaning armor, slowly, methodically, not to be pristine, but to remind himself what's broken can be mended by attention. Today, that's your emotional first aid box. Movement, mindful breathing, scent, sound, all rituals that reset your nervous system. Your lesson is simple. Honor your healing. Give recovery the same training you give ambition, because how you restore yourself is how you become strong. The ghosts of the mind. The samurai feared no enemy, only the ghosts, born from his own thoughts. They followed him after battle, whispering what ifs and regrets. His cure was presence. He walked through the forest, naming sights, sounds, sensations, anchoring back to reality. As he did, the ghosts fell silent. You may know this as the 5-3-1 grounding technique, a simple way to return from spiraling thoughts into the present moment. Picture this. Your mind races after a painful message, a lost opportunity, an unfinished argument. You feel trapped in the replay. Stop. Look up. Find 5 things around you. Listen. 3 distinct sounds. Feel. one texture, one temperature, one surface beneath your hand. In that act, you leave the battlefield of imagination and return to the present. The samurai's secret wasn't mystical. It was awareness in action. When you command your senses, your thoughts obey. When you name what is real, the ghosts lose their voices. The mirror of others. Many collapse under judgment, not from enemies, but from an imagined audience. Every step becomes performance. Every choice, a calculation. Will they approve? Will they notice? The samurai never lived for applause. His path was solitary, forged between inner discipline and outer silence. His rule was simple: fight to be worth seeing, not to be seen. Modern psychology calls it the spotlight effect. We think everyone's watching when almost no one is. But comparison is a subtler poison. It seeps in through the eyes, the scroll, the quiet envy of someone else's path. It tells you you're behind, you're not good enough, when you are simply walking a different trail. In Japan, there is a quiet teaching hidden in 4 blossoms: cherry, plum, peach, and chrysanthemum. The cherry blossom explodes in a brief, breathtaking storm of petals. The plum blossom appears earlier, small and resilient in the cold. The peach opens softer and later, full and gentle. The chrysanthemum waits the longest, blooming when the year is already turning cold. None of them is ahead or behind. Each blooms in its own season, at its own pace, and each is complete in its own kind of beauty. You are the same. When you forget this, comparison poisons you. Freedom begins when the mirror breaks, when your worth no longer bends under the gaze of others, and your path becomes your own. The vision and the obstacles. Real samurai never dreamed of effortless victory. They saw the blood, sweat, and endurance before triumph. That is mental contrasting, seeing both the goal and the grind. When you visualize both, motivation becomes endurance. It's foresight rooted in realism. Hope grows strong only when you feed it with challenges. Warrior spirit. The samurai stepped into discomfort, fasting, solitude, cold, not to suffer, but to strengthen. Modern anti-fragility echoes this. Pressure isn't poison, it's preparation. Every strike from fate tempers your blade. You don't wait for chaos to test resilience. You train it, daily. Have the hard conversation you've been postponing. Do the thing you keep putting off. Choose one small, chosen discomfort each day. Each chosen discomfort sharpens the spirit. Each time you face a little heat willingly, life's larger fires can no longer consume you. They refine you instead. The system of the self. Every samurai built a resilience kata, a daily pattern of body, mind, action, and connection. 4 pillars held it: the body, movement, the mind, clarity, the action, purpose, and the connection, companionship. The more often he practiced, the less he relied on willpower. Resilience became instinct, not something to aspire to. You stop preparing for peace and start preparing for the storm, knowing peace will follow. Remember the samurai in the rain, alone, defeated, yet breathing. Resilience found him not in triumph, but in surrender. In the exact moment he stopped forcing and started trusting. You can build the same stillness by breathing through emotion, reframing pain, crafting ritual, and walking your own discipline. The samurai wasn't mythical. He was human, trained to rise again. And so are you. When life strikes next, don't search for resilience. Stand still, and it will find you.